Uh, Shout out to Schoolboy Q.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in from wherever you are. I'm KianaFitz, and I'm here with a very special guest. I'll describe exactly who he is in a second. But for now, I want to say that we share a common experience, and it involves Kendrick Lamar. My most memorable experience with his music is not the Super Bowl, it's not the Grammys, it's not anything like that. It's the very early days. And my guest today, Kyle Gonzales, was a participant and an attendee at a Kendrick Lamar event in January 20th, 2012. So it's hard to believe that it was that long ago. Tickets were $28.87 after fees. So that just goes to show how long ago this was. But I think I would just love to get into your story and your experience with Kendrick. So I'll start out by asking, what drew you to Kendrick Lamar's music in the first place?
Uh, Needless to say, being in that scene, think about it, it's 2012. The blog era is hot. Like you have artists like the Cool Kids, Kid Cudi. I'm trying to 2012. I mean, shoot, there were so many people that were out at that time. Dom Kennedy. Kendrick was just another name that was in this wheelhouse of amazing artists that were out at the time. And something about just the way that he performed his music just kind of drew me in. Saw that he was coming to Austin, and I was like, that sounds like a cool concert to go to.
Yes, absolutely. So was that your first concert for Kendrick?
Yeah, first time ever going to a Kendrick Lamar concert, and first rap concert ever. At that point, I had been to a good handful of good punk rock shows, going to some random clubs, paying 15, like you said, 20 bucks to go into a show. And first time ever going to a rap show. Didn't know what to expect.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit more about your moment. So I can tell it, but I would love to hear you kind of break it down because it's you, like that's a highlight, a career, life, whatever highlight. So I just want to hear you kind of talk about like what it started out like, how you became a part of the process and everything like that.
Yeah, thanks, Key. Yeah, honestly, and that's the wild part too. I feel like I've never really had the chance to tell the full in-depth rundown and the whole story about how it ended up happening. So it was a week before my 18th birthday. I saw the show was going on, and for my birthday present, my brother drove me and one of my best friends down to Austin to go to the show. He has some friends in Austin, dropped us off, and that was really about that, right? Well, in the week, like a full 5 to 7 days of leading up to the concert, I was like, man, like I think it would be pretty wild if I could like have the chance to meet him. Found out there was a free meet and greet, free meet and greet happening on like the drag before the show. Which for those of y'all that don't live in Austin, the drag is Guadalupe. It's a big long road full of like cool businesses, whatever. Well, he was having this free meet and greet at this sneaker boutique that's not even there anymore.
Was it
And
Nice Kicks?
you said what?
Was it Nice Kicks?
Nice. I don't think it was Nice Kicks. I
Okay,
feel like I
okay.
remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Like, I
Yeah.
honestly wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know, man. Like that sounds pretty wild. Either way, yeah. So we were at this boutique, and I thought it would be cool if I rapped to him at the
Mhm.
meet and greet. So I picked a song. It was a random YouTube deep cut. Thought the beat was a Childish Gambino beat, another one of my favorite artists. Pretty awesome. And then met him at the meet and greet, rapped him the song. He thought it was cool. Didn't really think that much of it, right? And then I go to the show. He sees me in the crowd and plays the song, pulls me up on stage afterward and hands me a mic and says, I want to see you do it.
Tiger marks, finish slaps the tiger marks, and the relay starts on a runaway flame. Running on wings, gotta see him, I got you, gotta see this, there's no
and here we are now. Yeah.
Wow.
So afterward, he ended up trying to take me with me to Houston, and wasn't able to go. My mom got the phone call at 2 a.m. said it wasn't about that action, but in her
Yeah.
defense, I wasn't even 18 yet. I still had the X's
The
on the
X,
hand.
yeah, I was gonna say you got the X in hand. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, but then, needless to say, man, ever since then, I've always had this connection with Kendrick Lamar, and here we are now. I'm 31 now.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah, and
I'm 35, so I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's already been this much time.
yeah. So you get it. Both you and me have been able to grow with his music. That's what's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I did want to ask, how long did it take you to memorize Look Out for Detox?
Like I said, 5 to 7 days.
Okay, yeah.
I picked that particular song because when I rapped it to him, I thought he would think it was interesting if somebody rapped to him one of his songs that was just a random video. It
Yeah.
wasn't on any of his mixtapes. It wasn't like at that time he had Section 80 out. So he had what? Section 80, Overly Dedicated, the Kendrick Lamar EP. Look Out for Detox was just a random throwaway track that he just put up on YouTube. So I
Yeah.
thought he would be like, oh man, like that's pretty cool. Of all songs for you to rap, it'd be that one. I Rap Genius was fresh, brand new. I remember reading the lyrics every night leading up until that moment. So it's pretty crazy being able to look back on it now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you still remember all the lyrics?
Oh yeah, no, I feel like as soon as somebody starts to say tire marks, I got it in the bag. Still
Yeah.
too. Yeah. But now my biggest problem is if I ever met Kendrick Lamar again and he wanted me to rap with him again, I
Mhm.
wouldn't want to do that song.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a whole laundry list of songs I think I would rather pick, but
What's
so
at
Look
the
Up for
top of that?
Detox, fantastic song.
Yeah. What's at the top of that list of songs that you would perform if you were given another chance?
I think Hood Politics.
Mm.
I think Mama is definitely
Oh,
one of my other ones. Hold Up from Section 80. Actually,
yeah.
no, yeah, there you go.
Okay, cool. Those are some good ones. Okay. All right. So I was looking at the YouTube video that TDE has posted, and it looks like you were in two cities. So you were in San Antonio and Austin?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So so I think I was at the Austin show. Was that the same show where he was like kind of giving me a hard time the whole show and was playing like Tammy's song and everything, if you remember that?
You were Tammy. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so funny looking back on it now, man, because he would. That's such an intimate moment for him to call people like you and me out and
Yeah,
be connected about something like that, right?
exactly.
Yeah, it's almost magical at that point, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the Austin show ended up happening.
Mhm.
Afterward, he let me and my best friend that I went to the show with. He let us come backstage, hang out with him and J Rock and Punch and all these other people that you think about now, and it's so crazy being in a room with those guys.
Yeah.
But he wanted me to go with him to Houston and do the same bit. Hey, I'm going to pull you up from the crowd. It's going to be so wild, and then we're just going to go on a little mini tour. I call my mom at 2 a.m. because my phone was dead. Charge my phone. She answers, and she thinks I'm in jail. And I'm like, nah, this random rapper go wants me to go with him to Houston. They're gonna put me up in a hotel. They're gonna take me to Walmart. I got a toothbrush. We're in there, man. And she's like, absolutely not. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So, like I said, my brother had dropped me off. He was waiting in the parking lot. Didn't even know this was going on.
Wow.
So yeah, but that not Houston, but the next day after that was San Antonio. I
Mhm.
got somebody's phone number for the production company that put the show on,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Yeah, man, still down for you to come to San Antonio." So that third day, me and my friends hopped in a car and drove to San Antonio the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how that ended up happening.
Perfect. It's so cool to actually hear you talk about it because it's like such an ingrained memory for me. And just to like hear the complete picture is it's really reassuring. So thank you.
Yeah, no, and it's so funny too because I've been that guy. I've gotten on Kendrick Lamar Reddit, and I've
Mm.
like seen posts and like people talking about it, and I'm
Ah,
like, bro, like I've never like came out and told the story like on the internet. It's just almost been like this personal tidbit for me. You
Yeah.
know, like you would think that something like this would happen to somebody, and then it's the one thing they tell everybody about. But
Yeah.
I never tell people the story unless they see it. But once every 6 months, I feel like it goes viral on Facebook, and I have people tagging me on Facebook. Like, I went to high school with that guy. Like, you know, it just cracks me up, man. Yeah, but here we are now. You know, how many years later? 13 years later.
Yeah, 13 years. Like
That's so
almost.
sick.
Did your life change at all after that, or was it just kind of like back to normal?
So I mean, I feel like the one tidbit that I always end up getting is the oh, do you still talk to him?
Oh yeah.
Like, bro, I work a 9 to 5 as a manager at a bank,
Yeah.
and since then I started my own DJ company.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I started doing trivia and stuff like that on the side, like locally from where I'm from, which is tight, which is cool.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as like life changing, like, bro, I wasn't at the Super Bowl with him. He didn't put me in a private suite or nothing like that. But you know, I saw him. I've seen Kendrick 6 times, and
Wow.
the most recent time was Mr. Morale, Big
Me
Steppers
too.
tour. You
Yeah.
know, him and Baby Keem. The
Yep.
time before that was right after Good Kid, Mad City came out. So
Mhm.
that man's dropped.
A
Damn,
lot.
he's dropped
Yeah.
To Pimp a Butterfly, Mastered Untitled. You know, I just so much material since then. So like me, I was able to watch him from Good Kid, Mad City all the way to Mr. Morale, and like me, I felt introspective. I mean, my life has changed.
Mhm.
Just as anybody does when they grow up with something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, not much else, you know. Like I said, I mean, I go viral like once every 6 months. I went to Chick-fil-A and a chick was taking my order, and then she goes, "Hey, weren't you that guy that rapped with Kendrick Lamar?" And I'm like, "That's pretty wild." Like,
Right?
yeah, that was me. I got recognized in my job a couple of times. Like,
Really?
yeah, I swear to God, I was selling a bank account in the middle of Walmart. Guy comes up to me, he's like, "Bro, I just seen you rapping with Kendrick. Go ahead and hit him with it." He's like, "Tire marks, tire marks." I'm like, "Hey, yo, chill." I'm at my job right now, dog. Like,
My
it's
God.
crazy.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Okay.
Yeah, no, swear. I promise you. It's so wild. Yeah. And honestly, that's the wild part too. Like me, the way I am right now, I'm like this all the time.
Mhm.
So it never gets turned off.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a few more questions. I know in the TDE video, it's like y'all have that moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm Colin Gonzales, I'm Kendrick Lamar," you say. So it's like, what all went down behind the scenes?
Wild time too. And I honestly forget that even happens.
Mhm.
Just because I think it's so crazy that I have a music video with Kendrick Lamar. Of
Yeah.
all people, just one of my favorite musicians, period, let alone a guy like Kendrick Lamar, right? But yeah. So we were backstage hanging out, and he he starts talking about how he wants to make a music video
Mhm.
with all this footage that happened. And then we do like a random take, start chopping it up, just kind of like organic how you and me are chopping it up, right? And then he goes, "Well, here, let's do one where you say you're me and I'm you."
I'm Gonzales,
I'm Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot.
and we just fucked Austin up. This is day 2. You know what I mean? I was hype man tonight. Kendrick Lamar came out there, killed that shit. What you rap tonight?
Look out for the Detox.
And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Do you just want to like freestyle, like just talk about whatever?" I used to do theater as a kid a little bit. You know, I can improv. Like, let's
Yeah.
do it. Um, and then you know that's kind of where you end up seeing the footage about me talking to Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
Like, Dr. Dre doesn't know who I am, but what if he does? That's the wild part. In that case, Dre, what's up, man? Hit me up, fly me out. I'm here for it, dog. But yeah, that was just kind of all his idea. He wanted to do all that, and I went, "Yeah, I'm the guy. I can do that."
Yeah,
But then
and you did.
but both footages together are both Austin and San Antonio, which is
Yeah,
just bananas. You know, it's crazy being able to do that more than once.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So I want to take a step back and talk about the past year of hip hop. Real quick, the Drake and Kendrick beef, obviously. Um, what was your reaction to that unfolding? And have you been a Drake fan? Were you ever one, were you listening to him when you were listening to Kendrick? Like, what was that like for you?
That it definitely was crazy, especially with everybody in my intermediate life. Everybody knows that I'm a Kendrick fan, always have been. Um, Honestly, that's the funny thing about Drake too is I my middle school girlfriend loved him on Degrassi, and then he
Mm.
started rapping out of nowhere. So I remember when Best I Ever Had dropped, and it was all over the radio at that point. I remember downloading So Far Gone track by track on LimeWire. Like, so yeah, needless to say, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a part of me that ends up liking Drake, right? But then when you start getting into the big three conversation, yeah, it definitely was interesting watching it all pan out in real time.
Mhm.
I remember the day that Future and Metro Boomin dropped "We Don't Trust You," and I see Kendrick's got a feature track, and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, this is gonna be good." And then it's that first initial reaction of listening to it, and you go, "Oh man, how else is this gonna pan out?" I felt like everybody in my circle of people that I would see on a day-to-day basis, one day it was Euphoria drops. And then it's, oh
Yeah.
man, Kyle, what do you think about this? Oh man, yeah, no, it's awesome. Like he said, I hate the way that you talk, the way that you walk. And it's
I've been on Euphoria so heavy for the past week. I'm like, I can't stop listening to it.
oh no, it's and out of all of that whole segment of music that came out, because of it, I feel like it's definitely a little bit less recognized.
Yeah,
Not enough people are talking about Euphoria is my point,
I, I agree.
Uh,
100%.
but then you get to meet the Grams, and it's the creepy, murder beat. What is that, Alchemist, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's wild, and then you get Not Like Us, and then I felt like that was 2024 in a nutshell.
yeah,
You know, honestly, I kind of wish that Drake would have retaliated just a little bit more, because
yeah.
that's what rap beef really is. But it's good. It's just all good music, man. I'm having to explain it to folks that don't understand just how good of a time this is.
Yeah,
Being able to watch it all in real time. It's like watching two great boxers fighting. I don't know.
exactly. Exactly. Except nobody's getting physically hurt, just and psychologically.
Yeah, psychologically, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely the best way to be able to put it. I don't know how I would react if I was Drake watching the Super Bowl halftime show in real time.
Yeah, what did you think of the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl
It was,
and his performance specifically.
yeah, not for sure. It was cool being able to see the Eagles knock it down. Go Birds, right? But as far as the halftime show ends up going, man, I mean, I think about past halftime shows, like especially like with music in its current state, like who we had, like Rihanna, we had The Weeknd, we had shoot, I mean, like more so recent artists. I guess I'm kind of drawing a blank a little bit, but as a Kendrick fan, fantastic show. You can see he's dropping nonstop G and X hits.
Mhm.
Hearing a whole stadium yell out "mustard" was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But especially as somebody who expects good performances,
Mhm.
I I wish that he would have encapsulated a little bit more of his discography.
Mm.
Like he should have done "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe." He should have done "All Right." Maybe a
Mhm.
little bit of King Kunta. Like
Yeah.
what he did DNA, which was dope. He did Humble, which is dope. But I don't know. I think about like Element or like Loyalty. I don't know,
Yeah.
like other songs that people would hear and be like, "Oh, I didn't know this was Kendrick Lamar."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
So
thinking I definitely understand that, but I'm also thinking about how he has like this recent catalog that he hasn't been able to perform. Like he had the pop out over the summer last year where he was able to perform like Loyalty and Element and all those songs. And then,
mhm.
like he's getting ready for this tour, obviously. But I feel like he just wanted to get it off the way he wanted to. Like he didn't really, to be frank, give a fuck, what
Yeah.
anybody particularly thought of the set list. I think he was just like, this is me, this is what represents me at this moment. So I think that's maybe what he was thinking, but I don't know that man.
And then of course you get the fan theories that are like, oh, he's doing this because this is the reason. And
Mhm.
it sounds almost too good to be true, to be honest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but hey, I mean, he might be hardwired different, man. Like,
Mhm.
it makes so much more sense. I don't know. It's of all artists, it's got to be Kendrick Lamar that would do something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's a good
100.
point. Yeah, but especially like trying to get off on the new material, I understand it 100%. I mean, when you look at the playability factor behind GNX,
Mhm.
like inviting SZA out and doing Luther together, all the stars, that's crazy. Think about the Black Panther soundtrack. That people forget that was a
Mhm.
whole Kendrick Lamar project. Like,
Yeah.
so it's just real wild. One of the best movies in the end, or one of the most, what's the memorable, remarkable, yeah, just momentive. I don't know, it's crazy.
Yes. So I saw your tweets about Timothy Chalamet, uh,
Ah!
jocking your style. So what are your thoughts on this ad that he participated in which he rapped Cushion Corinthians and The Heart Part 2 together?
So I was with my brother when that dropped, and me and him we were DJing at a at some random gig, and I was like, "Wow, peep this out!" Like, Timmy Boy is out here jocking my style, man. And I was just joking. And he was like, dude, what if you started an internet beef with Timothy Chalamet and say about how you were a Kendrick fan before he was, and now he wants to be you so bad. And I just went, yeah, that's a really good bit. I think that'd be funny. Like, what if he ends up seeing it?
Yeah.
I think it was of all songs though for him to rap. I thought it was crazy that it was Cushion Corinthians and the hard part two. The hard part two off top five Kendrick song personally.
Yes.
Like that song, very special place in my heart just from that time in my life. So like he starts rapping it in this commercial, and I'm like, oh my god, like is Timothy Chalamet cool? Like, yeah, but then I had that thought: what if he'd seen my video? You know? And then it just kind of took me back a little bit. But yeah, no, the internet beef, it's all for clicks, man. Don't worry. Oh, that's so good. I think this interview would be so much better if I was like, yeah, man, fuck Timothy Chalamet, man. When I see that cat, it's on sight. But nah, yeah, no, I would never.
Don't worry, I'll chop it up and make it look
Man,
select.
make it look good. Yeah, you gotta edit that post, man. Don't worry.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you've been keeping up with Kendrick's music pretty much throughout his career, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have favorite albums and or songs?
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, favorite albums? Personal favorite, Section 80 definitely ends up holding a special place in my heart.
Mhm.
When you start talking about top to bottoms, I kid you not, I spent a whole hour and a half shopping at HEB the other day, and I just had that thought about listening to Damn for the first time. And
Mhm.
I took that album even like top to bottom, you let Yeah ride, then you get to the spots where it's like Triple X and Lust, and that's such a great album. Um, yeah, but I mean that album definitely helped him. I don't want to say pop off. He was already starting to do fantastic at that time, dude. Uh, yeah, I mean, like I said, like Hood Politics and Mama, those are always two personal favorites of mine because I feel like they come on to Pimp a Butterfly,
Yeah.
and they almost don't get enough recognition, man.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mama
It's
hate. I've seen Mama hate, and I'm like, what is that about? I
why.
don't get it.
Like
Yeah.
that's just trolls on the Reddit, bro. Like
Yeah.
don't even give them the clicks.
Yeah.
Like, uh, that's so wild. Yeah, but then I think back to good, and it's so tough for me talking about Kendrick Lamar because of maybe it's just my personal connection, but because of that personal connection, I've
Mhm.
able to like deep dive into his discography.
Mhm.
I don't know, and of course, that love for hip hop has been a thing since I was in middle school, and I met my best friend. So growing into that music, it definitely, I don't know, you grow with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Um, yeah, I mean, I can go on and on. I feel like you can play his whole discography on a 12-hour road trip, and I would know every song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
the hard
can't do
part
that
too,
about
though.
everything.
Off top, the hard part too. Tell Timmy boy I'm coming for him.
The message has been sent.
The message has been sent, man.
Okay. So are there any other songs that you've memorized of Kendrick's or anybody else's that are just like near and dear to you?
Almost too many to talk about, man. I mean,
Yeah.
especially as a music guy, like we start talking about hip hop in particular, man. I mean, Travis Scott, Schoolboy Q, Childish
Mhm.
Gambino, Chance the Rapper, like the list goes almost on and on, I mean, especially whenever you start talking about that blog era
Mhm.
hip hop, there's gonna be the Kid Cudis and the Kanye Wests and the ASAP Rockies, and I don't know. I'm over here talking about skipping Easter to go see Wiz Khalifa, Larry June, and Absol in
Mhm.
Denver. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, mom, can't make it to Easter. Flying out
Yeah.
to Denver. Like, gotta go to a concert.
Yeah.
And then especially with that Kendrick Lamar moment, there's that thought in the back of your head, like, oh man, like they could pull me up at any time. They could see me freaking out and be like, I want that guy on stage right now.
Yeah.
So you always got to keep one in the chamber, man.
Yeah.
Needless to say, because of that, I'm fantastic at karaoke, but
Mm.
it just all depends about who's around in the room.
Yeah.
but honestly, my brain is a whole catalog of memorized music.
Mhm.
So trust me, yeah. You want me to get up on stage and rip one? I got you.
Yeah. And I completely forgot to ask this question earlier. What was it like to be on stage being hyped up by Kendrick Lamar? And like
Oh,
you
buddy. Yeah, when you do such a good job that the artist you're rapping along with or playing a song with, whatever the case may be, they want to be you. There's no feeling close to that.
Yeah.
I had somebody who even at 2012, like Kendrick Lamar, would look at me and be like, "Oh, I'm Kyle Gonzales." That's an unprecedented feeling, man.
Yeah.
But I think that I find a lot of solace knowing the fact that I didn't peak in that time. You know,
Mm.
like you get the guys that it's the I was quarterback of the high school football team.
Yeah.
We went to state. You would think that somebody like me would go, "Oh, I rapped with Kendrick Lamar, and that was the peak of my life." But that definitely was not the case. I feel like life has only been great since then. Dude, I was barely 18 when that happened.
Yeah.
And since then I'm now, I'm, dating the love of my life. I'm, going around seeing concerts and making new memories and
Mhm.
I own my own business. I'm a trivia, and a wedding DJ. I run a banking center I'm a manager at a bank. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
life definitely did not peak when I rapped with Kendrick. It just only made things that much sweeter, which is sick. Having somebody like Kendrick Lamar being able to hype you up is definitely bananas. That's a wild time. I'm actually in the process of trying to get him to notice me so I can go out to see him in Dallas.
Mhm. Hey, we'll
Can't
see
afford
what
a
happens.
$500 ticket, man. I'm just saying.
I feel you. I feel you. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll all be blessed. Maybe we'll all be blessed.
Oh, Kia, if that happens, I'm taking you with me, man.
Thank you. Okay, so last question. How do you feel about the Kendrick that you shared that moment with having over 100 million Spotify monthly listeners, breaking Billboard records, breaking Grammy records? Like, how do you feel about the person that you shared that moment with becoming the person he is today?
I would like to think that if I had the chance to chop it up with him, I could have that same sentiment and statement the way that I have with you just now, and have him see the growth in me as I see in him. We're almost like new people, man. 10 years can change a lot out of somebody in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think about Kendrick as like a $20 club show rapper, you
Mhm.
know? Like that's one of my favorite bits. I go to a lot of concerts, man. Like I'm like, yeah, man, I saw Kendrick for $20 at a club that's not even there anymore in downtown Austin, bro. And now this man's like selling out whole stadiums, nationwide. And then I think about like me when I was 17, I was still in high school. Like I cut out of my class early to go to that concert, and now here I am now living life. It's awesome, man. Like you grow with somebody like that over time, and you always feel a personal connection to the music. Music speaks a lot.
Yeah, perfectly said. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's my last question. Is there anything else that you would like to say, promote, share, anything at all?
Thank you for doing what you're doing, Kiana. Thanks, man.
Oh, no
Thank you for
problem.
letting me have my chance to tell my story, dude.
Shout out to Schoolboy Q. He ugly than a motherfucker. Tire marks, finish line with the tire marks. When the relay starts, I'm a runaway slave.